Uh, Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dan Yerman, and I am a SCORE mentor here in Cleveland. I'm here with Lindsay Sims McKee, who will be your presenter this evening. Before she gets going, I want to say a few words about SCORE, so I'm going to share my screen. All right, this is what SCORE is all about. SCORE has the largest network of free volunteer small business mentors in the nation. No matter what stage your business is in, SCORE has a mentor for you. You can easily request a mentor to help you start, grow, or transition your business today. SCORE's mission uh, is to foster vibrant uh, small business communities through mentoring and education. We aim to give every person the support they need to thrive as a small business owner. Small business drives our national economy. Come back. There we go. Uh, Through business formation, job creation, and wealth building, small businesses are critical to vibrant communities in our society. There are over 10,000 volunteers. Who knew? Serving clients in over 1,500 communities. There are 90 people in the greater Cleveland area who are SCORE mentors. So lots of people to help you. If you want to be a SCORE mentor, go to the SCORE website. I'll give you information on how to get there in just a minute and request a mentor because serving our clients is our only priority. We also have a code of ethics that all volunteers must agree to and sign annually. SCORE members are not permitted to make money in any way from SCORE clients. Volunteers may not use client or member information for commercial reasons, and all client information is confidential and protected by the US government through the Small Business Administration. This is the SCORE website, and you can say find a mentor. You'll see that little link up at the top, and just push in your zip code, and you'll be off to the races. The little form will come up, and you'll fill it out, and you'll tell them what you need. And within a few days, you will receive an email from a SCORE mentor saying, we're ready to go. The SBA provides us a relatively small amount of funding, but it's important nevertheless because we are do get that money. It keeps us going, and we are very grateful for the SBA support. This is the famous QR code, which if you're not watching this on your phone and you have your phone available, you can point this at this code here, and it will take you directly to the SCORE website. So just do that and then bookmark it. And then when you have the time, you can go to the SCORE website and you'll be fine. And with that, I am going to stop sharing and I'm going to give it back to Lindsay. And Lindsay, it's all yours.
Hello, hello, everyone. It's good to see you all here. Let's get started. So I'm Lindsay. Hi, it's nice to meet you. I am a growth school coach for Ohio and also the lead faculty for the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. So, two things for you to know in this very real moment is that I have been doing that program all day, so my voice is a little bit tired. That and I'm kind of prone to laryngitis whenever I am recovering from an illness, and I was sick last week. So, y'all, I might cough a little bit during the workshop, but I'm fine. I'm just like, it's one of those things when you're prone to laryngitis, you're used to it. I'm totally used to it, and I just kind of have to get everybody else used to it. And in addition to that, I've been talking all day. So, like, in addition to being like having recovering from a cold and having laryngitis, I have been talking all day. So, the fact that I sound this good is like a miracle. But let us jump into a little bit of chat and telling you exactly how this works. I am a huge fan of using the chat. If you have questions, concerns, comments, anything as we're going along, I want you to feel free to use the chat to get that information out there, to talk to me about whatever your topics are, whatever your issues are. I am here for you. It is your time. And then if you are happen to be watching this live on YouTube, I also am watching there. So I have my other screen up and it is just me talking, so I don't have to pay attention to that, but I am paying attention to the chat. So I'm paying attention to both chats because both of them are up. If you have any questions, if you're watching live there, feel free to pop those into the chat as well. So let us get started. Before we get started, I would love for anyone who is here right now to tell us about yourselves in the chat. I think I see a familiar name in the attendance log. So if you all could tell us who you are, what your business is, where your business is from, all that jazz, let me know. And if you were a 10KSB alum, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, then go ahead and tell us about that as well. Because I think I spy at least one 10KSB alum in the participants panel. Hey, Sadiqa. And so I want to make sure that you guys all get to know each other. So go ahead and put that information in the chat. And if I have anything or have any questions or whatever, I will go ahead and put that in there as well. Look at that. We have someone from Joplin. I love, like, tell me where you're from, where you're viewing this from, because I am not from Ohio. I've been here forever. Not really. I've been here for like 18 years. But I am from Missouri originally. And so Joplin, I've been there. I know all about it. I'm from St. Louis, but I went to school in Kirksville. I went to school in Northeast Ohio. And because of that, I have been to like all of the college towns in Ohio, in Missouri. So like y'all, I'm one of those people. So anyway, tell me about your business. Tell me what you're doing. Let me know so that I can use you all as examples. Okay, so we got Doreen with the distracted learner and Mommy. I think I said that correctly. Mommy is one of those cities that I don't think I've ever heard anyone from Mommy say the name of the city, even though I have been there as well. So yeah, I be going places. Okay, so I'm Lindsay. Nice to meet you. I am a CEO of my own business. I have a bunch of stuff going on in my life. I'm kind of an extra busy person, but I love it. I love being here with you and chatting with you and learning about your businesses. And this is part of what I do for a living is going around and talking to people about marketing and how to make your business grow using marketing. Small businesses are my jam, and I just love working with y'all. So today, we are going to walk through what is called the customer journey. And the reason why this is so important, and it's amazing because we're going to get through a lot of information in just an hour, but the customer journey is crucial if you're a business owner, because if you think that you want to start doing marketing, the best way to do marketing is to do it through the customer journey, like to market through a journey for your customer. It is a organizing principle for yourself, and it is a way to make sure that you are serving your customer at every stage that they have, right? Okay, so she corrected me, mommy. I don't know. Maybe I got it right. Okay, so this is really all about you guys and what you're wanting to get out of it. So just let me know. So the marketing funnel, let's go through it. This is one of my favorite quotes ever. Great marketers don't make stuff, they make meaning. And for some people, that statement feels off. Like it doesn't feel good to them because they're like, how am I making up meaning? And it's not that you're making it up. You're not creating meaning. What you are doing is helping people to identify where your business is serving their need, right? Like you're creating the meaning for them because without you telling them, they would not know. I'm going to use the distracted learner as an example. So I don't know what that business is, but I'm guessing based on the name of it that the purpose of it is to actually help. And Doreen could tell me the purpose of it is to help people who have maybe some attention deficit diagnoses or who just are living in our modern world where we have devices that are pulling our attention on a regular basis and we are distracted. So is she serving the students and the learners themselves, or is she serving a population of educators? I don't know. But the meaning that she would need to make for people is the meaning around why learning still matters for people who have distractions. Like you're still going to want to learn. You still need to know things. You still need to understand things in the context of being distracted, right? Like, do you still want to make progress in your life? You still want to. So, the idea of the meaning that she's making with marketing is that. So, helping busy people that are distracted easily get through and do their job. Like, that is a meaning that she has to make because if she doesn't, there are plenty of distracted people who feel like they're perfectly fine. Like I'm perfectly successful. Everything is awesome. I don't need any help. But with marketing, you can actually help them understand how much better their life could be if they were less distracted. right? So that is the concept. That's what we mean by trying to make meaning, okay? And so when you're looking at this concept and what we're doing today, it is all about that. It is all about the idea of taking the thing that people are having a challenge with, like Sadiga's business is about recovery, and you might be thinking recovery and automatically think of substance abuse. But I know because I've worked with Sadiga for weeks and months that Sadiga is not just focused on substance abuse. She's focused on recovery of all types. And there are all the different types of recovery that you need to make meaning around. So if you all are here, yes, healing begins with you. I love a good hashtag. So we are trying to make sure that we understand what the meaning is that we're trying to create for people. And then we're going to use marketing to communicate that meaning. Okay. 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 So you guys are getting it. You're getting it. Now, I'm going to introduce you to a business just as a kind of a device for us to work with. But as you see, I prefer to work on your businesses. So make sure that y'all are telling me about your businesses, about your lives in the chat, because you can see I'm reading them. And I would love to like fill me in on everything that you guys are doing. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Shalana Sherika. They are real people. They are actually a couple out of the DC area, or the DMV, as people call it. And they had this really interesting challenge where, like, he was going to work every day. And this was probably when they started this business, maybe 15 years ago. And he was trying to bring his lunch because he wanted to be healthy. He wanted to be like a person who saved money. Like he had this big purpose for bringing his lunch. But the challenge that they had was that none of the lunch bags that they could find were suitable for his professional environment. So he didn't need a book bag. He didn't need a briefcase. He just needed a lunch bag. Like he didn't need any of the other trappings. He just needed a lunch bag. And if you've ever been to the lunch bag aisle in like Target or whatever, it was all superhero like stuff. It was minimalist or it was ugly, like just straight up like people who are going to a factory and it's going to get banged around in a forklift or whatever all day. That was it. That was the only real options that he had. And he's like, I'm going to this professional office. I don't need to take, like, he works on a computer. He doesn't need to take a briefcase. He doesn't have papers. He doesn't have to have his computer on him. It's the desk is there. So all he really needs to bring is his lunch, and he is having a hard time finding a good way to bring it without putting it in a paper bag. And so he actually created this thing, this TW tote, as a way to get his lunch and all of its components to work in a nice, very attractive, non-gendered bag. He was like, I want a bag that doesn't look like a purse. I want a bag that doesn't look like a lunch bag, but it doesn't look like a briefcase. It doesn't look like a, he wanted to create something new. So he had this passion, he had this idea, but he had minimal knowledge of marketing. Like he was like, I don't even know what it is that I'm doing. But as you can see, the bag is actually really attractive. Like it's a nice bag. It's got the handles that you can hold with just your hand. It also has a strap that you can put over your crossbody strap. Like it's a very lovely bag. I actually have one in the closet behind me. So when he was coming up with that idea, they had to come up with a marketing funnel. They had to look at the customer journey. And each of us needs to do that too. Thank you, Robert, for giving us your business. Anyone else who has not done it yet, go ahead and put in the chat. There's a few more people in here now. Put in the chat who you are, where you're from, and what your business is so that we can all be working together in this chat. Okay. So, what we're going to be doing is thinking about how to first create meaning and do some good storytelling. Two, build relationships and trust and credibility. And then three, influence people along the way. So often people try to start with influence, but they haven't done the other two things first. Like you wouldn't believe how often people are like, but Lindsay, I want to just hire an influencer to promote my products. And I'm like, well, if you don't know what the story is and you don't know who you're trying to build a relationship with, what influencer are you going to hire? Because influencers are only as good as the audience that you're speaking to. So, who are we going to hire? What does that look like? We actually have to have some idea of who these people are and what they're doing. Like, we have to have something, some knowledge in order for this whole influencer play to work. And so that's what I want you to be thinking about when you're thinking about marketing is that it has to go in order. You have to create the meaning in the story. You, the business owner, need to create that meaning in that story. And then that meaning in that story can build trust and credibility. And then from there, you can influence people. But you can't influence people who don't trust you. This is why influencers themselves work because the people in their audience trust them, right? They trust them already. And so our job is to figure out what the story is, what the meaning is, so that we can borrow some of that trust or so that we can build it ourselves. Okay. So there are 4 steps to this funnel. The first step is awareness. The second is consideration. The third is conversion. And the last is loyalty. If you have taken a marketing class in the past, you may have seen 4 different steps to the marketing funnel. So I know, like I said, Sadiqa and I have gone through a program together where I was the instructor. And when I teach this in that class, this funnel looks a little bit different. Not significantly, not drastically, but a little bit different. Mostly because sometimes people break out some steps between awareness and consideration and conversion. Like they might add a step in there. But the reality is that this is actually really good, especially if you want to go to after the purchase, where someone really does need to have a long-term relationship with you. Then we want to look for more than just the conversion. We want to look for how we're going to nurture that relationship afterwards. Okay. So, what is the influence points for us during this process? For us, we need to know, how do people reach us? We need to help them find answers to their questions. We need to help them convert, so help them to do whatever the conversion activity is that we want to do. And then we have to help them become more loyal and maybe even help them figure out how to refer people to our business. So that is our touch points in this entire process. And in this workshop, we're going to work through every single one of these steps. And I'm going to be asking y'all in the chat to give me your answers and we'll talk about them. Like we're going to work through each of these steps and I want to talk about it with you. What is it that you're doing? How do you think people are finding you? How do we convert them once they have found them? How do we figure out what your conversions are? All that jazz so that you can actually work through this process for yourself. So let's start out with the beginning of the funnel, which is the awareness phase. The awareness phase is 2 things. It is both how do people become aware that they have a problem, and then also how do they become aware of you? So that's your 2 questions. In the chat, how do people know they have a problem? And then how do they become aware of you? So I told y'all my voice was scratchy. I got myself some hot tea here to help out with that. So in the chat, I need to know the answer to those 2 questions. How do people become aware that they have a problem? And then how do they become aware of you? So I'm going to use Sadiqa as an example because I'm a little bit aware of her business and she does serve a bunch of different clients. And one of the clients that they do serve is a clientele that is being told by the courts that they have to do recovery or rehab, right? So this is a person who has been mandated by the court to do therapy as a function of a court order. At that point, they might not even know that Sadiqa is their answer. But they do know that they need somebody because the court has told them that they need somebody. So that is when they become aware that they have a problem. And when I say aware that they have a problem, whatever the thing is that they're being mandated to recover from, anger management issues, whatever the thing is, they likely knew it was a problem before they got to court because they were arrested for something, right? They knew they had a problem, but they didn't know essentially that they needed to solve that problem, right? Until the court said, look, bro, you can't go nowhere until you solve this problem. And then once the court says that, then they know they have a problem that they have to solve. So for your people, when do people run into the, oh, that's a thing I need to solve? And if you sell diamonds, let me use diamonds as an example because I have a lovely Doreen here who has diamonds. So sometimes a problem isn't a problem. Maybe a problem is actually a desire. So they become aware that they have a desire for something different, a different outcome, a different life trajectory, something that is aspirational. So some people are running away from pain and some people are running towards pleasure. So when you're looking at awareness for everybody in here, think both sides. Is it somebody running away from pain, or is there someone who is moving towards pleasure? Because that can, both of those things can be awareness zones. So we have Doreen who says when they run into a problem teaching the computer science course because they were absolutely voluntold that they need to do it. Um, and oh, I love that. So she is answering questions. The second way that people become aware of her is because she is actually being proactive and answering questions on a platform called Quora and on Facebook. So she is in Facebook groups and on Quora answering questions. Doreen, that is genius. Okay. So most people become aware the roof's age, or at least general understanding it. Okay, so JT Justin, and it shows up as JT on my screen. Justin sells roofs. And so people become aware that they have of the age of their roof. So either at the purchase of the house or at the point that they have a problem with the roof, they become aware of the roof, and then they start thinking about how long the roof is going to last, right? How can they make it last longer? Things like that. Okay, that's a good one. So that's a point at which people could become aware. So that might be a positive and a negative. So people might be running away from a problem like the roof is leaking or something like that. Or they could simply be buying a house with a roof that is a little bit older. And like my house, my roof is a little bit older. It hasn't given us any problems in particular, but we are looking at maintenance and how to make sure that it's not going to give us problems in the future. And they find us through online searching, like literally Google search or on social media, or because they see them on Nextdoor or through advertising. Okay, you guys are awesome at this. You're already thinking through the process of how people are becoming aware of you. Okay. Melody says people who understand that they want to enhance their decor. I love that. So Melody, this is a good one. I love yours because you've got a couple of different reasons why people might come to an antique shop. So people who are coming to an antique shop are very likely not moving away from pain, so they're not experiencing the court mandating that they go to the antique shop, but they are moving towards pleasure, and they might be doing it two ways. So they could be going to an antique shop because they're trying to fit a certain aesthetic, like they're looking for a certain look, and they are thinking an antique shop might have that look. Like they're looking for a mid-century modern, or they're looking for Victorian, or they're looking for a specific style of furniture that is not being made in stores. Or maybe they're looking to find a high quality item for a lower price. So, depending, because there's sometimes people come into antique stores with that expectation, other times they are coming looking for a specific design. And so they're looking to enhance their decor, but they're not just generally looking to enhance decor. Sometimes when people are antique shopping, they are antique shopping like they're looking to find things that they didn't know they were looking for, right? And so when we're in that mindset of looking to find something that they're not looking for, they're in discovery mode. They're open to suggestion. And she's saying that people find her via Facebook and word of mouth. And so Robert with Modern Alchemy, I love that. Justin's like, we got you. I can get you a new roof. Justin, I'm in Cleveland. Justin is in Columbus. That's a long drive to get me a new roof. So we got Modern Alchemy. Oh, so Robert is selling bourbon. Robert, why are you speaking my language? Okay, so we want people want expensive, hard to get bourbon, and right now they don't know about them. Okay, so they're unaware that technology exists to make their own craft whiskey at home. So people who are, oh, Robert. This is another one where people are moving towards pleasure, not away from pain. So this isn't just for people who want expensive, hard to get whiskey or bourbon. This is for people who have like a discerning taste and want to experience something new and like experimentation. Like they like experimenting and they like trying new things, and they're interested in, maybe these are the kind of people who maybe did craft brewing on their own, the kind of people who used to make their own bread during COVID. Like these are the people who are moving towards experimentation and they want new things, and they don't know Robert exists yet. So their awareness, when they're looking for experimentation, they might be currently doing different whiskey tastings and doing different whiskey tours. Like they're gonna be out there sampling a bunch of different things, and they might be buying some of the higher end stuff at the stores, but they're not necessarily knowing that they can do it themselves. So good. Okay, Robert said exactly. He's like, that's it. So, y'all, this is why I said put your stuff in the chat. We're gonna really work through some of these things. So when you're thinking about the awareness stage, keep everything that we just said in mind. Everyone here, keep everything that we said in mind, and let's talk about what's important here. In order for us to do a very good job of awareness, we need to identify the customer, make sure that they know that you're you and that's it, that you're the you that they're finding, and we need to get you everywhere that they can find you online. Because if they're looking via Google search, Facebook, all these places, then they need to be able to find you online. So let's talk about identifying the customer. There are a few different ways that we can really hone in on who the customer is. Because, like I said, back to that influence thing that we were talking about a few minutes ago, if you were going to hire an influencer, I want you to literally, all of you here, I want you to think about what you would do if you were going to hire an influencer. Who would you hire? Why? And so, if we're thinking about hiring an influencer, in order to make that influencer purchase, that influencer hire the best influencer we can get, we need to make sure that that influencer has their finger on the pulse of the audience that we want. Because otherwise, it is a massive and incredible waste of money. Even if it's $100, it's a waste of $100. And I could be spending $100 on bourbon. And I am not going to try to waste my money, right? And so I would rather spend it on bourbon than waste it on an influencer who didn't do nothing for my business, right? Like, even if I'm going to spend the money, I want to spend it on something I love instead of spending it on something that I don't care about. And so for us right now, you need to be thinking demographic, psychographic, geographic, behavior. What is, and I want you to flip it in a way, what is the current behavior of the person that we're seeking? And some of you already have your finger directly on that behavior. So I'm going to go to Melody again. Melody, her people are shopping. That's their behavior. They are actively and always shopping. They are always looking. They are on the hunt. People who like antiques are not minimalist. They are not buying a single item. They are very likely building a collection, not a collection of dining chairs. Maybe it's a collection of dining chairs, but they're building a home. They're building a set of decor. They are set dressing their house. And because of that, they are always shopping, right? That is the behavior. They are actively shopping. People who are like Justin's people, who are dealing with a roofing thing, their behavior might be essentially that they are moving into a new home. They are settling into a house. They are discovering things about the house that might be problematic. They're discovering things about the house they love. But they're in discovery mode, right? And part of that behavior and their demographics is that they're maybe recently bought a house. And that is a demographic that you can actually just look it up. Like, people who've recently bought houses in your area, that's your geography. And then psychographics, back to that, like, what is it that we're thinking about? Who is this person? The psychographics are people who recently bought a house and are very much into maintaining it. So these are not the people who are about to rip the whole house down and start over from scratch. These are not the people who are like, whatever house I bought is the house I'm gonna live in for 25 years. These are the people who are like, every house needs a little bit of love, and we're gonna give this house love so that we can make it at the very least, our 15-year home, if not if our forever home. They're the people who have the forever home mindset. And now, if we think about it that way, we start thinking about who we're going to be going after differently. Same thing when we're talking to Robert about these bourbon loving humans, these whiskey loving humans. Their behavior is that maybe they're going on whiskey tastings right now. They might have done the whiskey trail in Austin. They may have traveled to Kentucky to do the Kentucky bourbon trail. They may have gone to Scotland to taste scotch. Like, they may be the kind of people who are traveling around and having different whiskey experiences. They are the kind of people who enjoy creating things for themselves. Like I said, maybe they are home bakers. They are definitely home cooks. They're the kind of people who are cooking their own food. They are not ordering DoorDash every day. And so what we want to do is look at their behavior, because when we look at their behavior, it is a little bit more indicative of what their outcomes are going to be. And so Andrea said, or Andrea, one of the two, Andrea, I'm going to go with Andrea. So Andrea said that her people like to dabble in technology. That's a good one. So is it that they like to try out different software? Is it like that they like to build their own computers? Is it a combination of both? Are they just testing out different devices? Are they the kind of people who follow MKBHD because he's testing all these different devices that they're never going to buy? Like, what kind of testing? So, when you're thinking about your humans, try to find maybe one or two influencers, people who are already doing marketing that you're like, oh, my people watch them. My people like that. So, for, oh gosh, what are your name just keeps falling, Melody. One of my favorite people on YouTube. I watch a lot of decor YouTube, and one of the girls that I love to watch is Exo McKenna. And the reason why I bring her up is because they do antiquing and estate sales all the time. And the reason why I bring her up about this topic is because her audience, half of her audience is watching just to watch her go to different estate sales, just to watch her go to antique shops with her mom, because that's a part of what they do. And she has that antique aesthetic, even in her brand new house. Like they built a house basically from the ground up. And even with the new build, everything in their house looks like it's been there for 100 years because they all the new stuff in all the old stuff, it all has that aesthetic because that's what they're going for. So looking at who is doing this currently, like who are the people who are expressing this like activity that my audience is expressing, mostly because I want you to build a persona. I want you to think, okay, my person looks like X. So in this case, my person looks like Metro Michaela. They are a mid-30s female who's single. She lives in a large city. She's college educated. She works in fashion. She loves cooking because we're trying to sell her a bag for her to take her lunch, right? So she lives in a large city. She loves cooking. She loves wine. She loves travel and she loves shopping locally. And so, because of those things, we can think about the ways we can market this bag to her because we already know she's interested in some of the things that overlap with what we're doing. That's why we're building the persona, is so that we can think about how to market to this person. And then once we've built this persona, I am this slide is like not what you think it is. This is not about rebranding. This is not about any of that. What it is about is consistency. You want to make sure that the logos and colors that you're using on Facebook are the same as the ones that you're using on LinkedIn, as the same as the ones that you're using on Instagram, are the same as the ones you're using on TikTok and Pinterest and all the places. All of your graphic elements need to be in alignment. If you have a Yelp, if you're on Quora, whatever platform you're on, your presence needs to be very consistent so that when someone does Google you or look you up, they see the same thing everywhere they go. They see the same picture, they see the same logo, they see the same colors, because what that does is that establishes that you are a business instead of a person who they aren't necessarily going to know they can do business with. If your brand is different every single place that someone goes, it puts them in the position to question whether or not you're an updated current business. Oh, well, this logo looks older than the one that I saw on LinkedIn. Which one of them is the new one? Is this business even still in business? Like, if they have to question that, we're doing it wrong. And your brand voice and your values should be indicative of the brand. Like, who are you? Who do you want to be? What do you stand for? Now, I don't mean that like in the big grand sense. I mean, with him and his tote, he stands for the idea that him and his wife should be able to both wear the tote. Like, it shouldn't be like your lunch bag shouldn't have a gender. Like, that's basically what he was saying. Like, anyone should be able to be stylish and go to lunch. Like it's just like not really taking a stand in the way that you might be thinking. So for your business, what is that stand that you're taking? What is the thing that sets you apart? And then you're going to try to create a positioning statement that fits the who you're serving, what you're offering, and then what is your mission? What is the thing that's going to tie you through so that you can really help people who, this is when we talked about that messaging thing, creating meaning at the beginning. This is how we create meaning. We say, to this person who loves to cook and is stylish and into fashion, I understand where you're coming from, and I have this offer of a tote bag that is totally different from everything on the market. You don't have to carry a backpack for no reason, so that you literally all you have in your backpack is your lunch, and you're lugging that entire thing around all the time. No. I have something that is much better and that anyone in your family can use. So when you're creating your positioning statement, I want you to think like this. For audience who has challenge, my company provides product and difference, like my product and why it's different, because, and then what do you believe? What is your brand promise? What is your mission? So I'm going to challenge everyone here again because y'all know I love it. I love making you do a little bit of work while we are together. So in the chat, can you pull together a positioning statement? Kind of thinking about the people that we were just talking about, each of your audiences, who your people are. So if I look back, I'm going to go back to some of your examples. So for Doreen, maybe it is for computer science teachers who were voluntold into teaching this class, like literally. My company, the Distracted Learner, I remember that. Distracted Learner provides, and then I don't know what your actual like thing is. So whatever the product or service is, because we believe that even the least prepared deserve the best education, like whatever the belief is that you have. So you're going to pull all of those things together into a positioning statement. I'm going to try one for. Oh, I love that. Andrea is like, they become aware when their power goes out or their power bill gets high. So I'm like, I don't know who your audience is. So if you're thinking about power and utility for homeowners, let's say homeowners who are challenged with high electric bills, like extremely high electric bills, Andrea's company, X, provides this service with this difference from your standard electrical products because we believe that your electric bill shouldn't be as high as your mortgage or whatever the thing is, right? So you're going to give me a little bit of that. I'm going to give you another one. I'm going to use Robert again. So for modern alchemy. So for people who love tasting a variety of whiskey and bourbon from all over the world, but are challenged with travel budgets. You know, you're like, whatever that thing, like you love tasting all these things, but you're challenged with trying to maintain a normal everyday human budget. My company, Modern Alchemy, provides the ability for you to do it yourself. Like, you don't even have to name the product. We provide the ability for you to do it yourself with our at home whiskey kits because we believe that great bourbon can be made right in your very own kitchen, right? So that is a positioning statement. So I want everybody to try the Bourbon-ator. Love it. Okay. So everybody try to do it yourself. I want you to tell me what your positioning statement is and go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm going to give you a second. I'm going to give you another example. So I just worked through a few examples for you all based on a little bit of information I know about you. So pull it together. Tell me a little bit more about your business, what you're doing, like in that statement. So I want to be able to know a little bit more about y'all when I read these statements. So let's do TW Tote. So we've already talked about them a little bit. For working professionals who need a stylish and functional lunch bag, TW Tote provides fashionable, insulated, vegan leather totes because everyone deserves a luxurious and functional lunch bag that the entire family can use. Now, I love that because again, it is the idea that the husband and the wife can take the same lunch bag, that you do not need to have a lunch bag that has a gender or an age attached to it, that everyone should be able to have a stylish lunch bag. So I'm going to be looking in the chat, see who's brave enough to give me your, I know, right? I'm convinced too. It's a good one to give me your example. So come on, now give it to me. Give it to me. Okay. So beyond that, we definitely need to get y'all online. So some of you are not in the places where your customers are. So I'm going to use Melody as an example again because I love Melody's business. I just met her in the internet today, but I am not, even though I'm not an antique person, I'm absolutely I don't want everything in my house to look brand new person. Like I don't like that idea. And so, and I love secondhand shopping. Like I love the idea of pulling things out of the waste stream. Like I'm kind of a little bit of an eco warrior. And so because of that, then I love vintage shopping because I'm an eco warrior and I am also a Pinterest gal. And so when she did not automatically say that she was on Pinterest, I was like, whoa, it's me. And then, if you're going to be out here on the internet, why not be in all of the places where people can find you? You want to treat some of these platforms like their directories, like literally, like if I'm not going to be on there commenting and all that stuff every day, but if someone on the platform searches for something that looks like me, I want to be found. And then, of course, you do need to have your own website because, unlike all those social media platforms, even Pinterest, you don't own it, you don't control it. And so, for your website, you own it. It is yours. You control it. And you can make changes to it, you can make updates to it. You can do all of those things yourself when you have your own website. If you want to grow even more, even faster, make sure you have a Google Business Profile because your Google Business Profile is free, completely free, always free, doesn't cost anything, no matter what somebody who's scamming on the phone might say, it does not cost anything. And this profile is so useful because it can use search terms to help people find you. Yet again, one of those things that can be very, very useful to your business. Okay, it looks like y'all are, yay, you're putting some in the chat. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, good. So I'm going to go with melodies for antique lovers, collectors, and home decorators who are looking to add to your collection and add elegance and aesthetic style into your home. Melodies Antiques Emporium has the treasures you are looking for with the selection for whatever your style might be. Melody, that is very, very good. Okay, you guys are doing great. So take that example. That is an example of how to put together a good positioning statement. Now, I'm going to keep using melody as an example because, like I said, it kind of moves forward really easily. Once you have people's attention, like you got a good positioning statement, you have a good meaning for them, something for them to latch onto, then they're going to start asking questions. They're going to start gathering data. They're going to start browsing your shop. They're going to start asking more for more information. And what we need to do at that point is provide them with a way to evaluate us, to say, we're the better option than someone else. That is the name of the game. How do I make sure that people understand that I am their best choice for this thing that they're interested in doing? So, what do we do at that stage? We need to listen. So, this is something that some of you are doing. Doreen already said she is doing this really well. Listen, learn, communicate, and then try to build a relationship. I do not know where Doreen got this from, but Doreen, you have got this down already because Doreen is already going on to Quora and going into Facebook groups and listening to what people are saying their challenges are. So, for the same thing for the rest of you, where can you go online, in person, to listen to what people's challenges are? What are they having a hard time with? What are their challenges? And the reason why you're listening for challenges is not just so that you can answer them. So Doreen actually does provide answers in Quora and things like that. But maybe Doreen was to find the answers that people find the questions that people have. And then on your own website, you can start building out a series of YouTube videos that answer those same questions. So maybe you answer them in Quora. You're going to be a good citizen and actually answer the question. But then at the same time, you're going to take it and write a blog post on it on your website that answers that same question. So now you're not answering it just off platform, you're also answering it on your own website. So I want all of us to be thinking like that. How can I take the things that I'm learning from the different audiences? If you're in the next door app, people are complaining constantly about their roofing guy and the people who did this. People put out bad reviews all the time about service businesses that serve their homes. I know y'all see them. And so go ahead, if you have a roofing business like JT, like Justin, then I want you to get out there and read those reviews and then talk about how your business is different. How do we serve people better? How can you create YouTube videos or other content that is going to help people go, oh, thank God, I'm not going to have that issue when I work with Justin. I hope Justin's the one that's got the roofing, because if he doesn't, this doesn't make any sense. But if whatever, you guys get my point, right? Like, how do I make sure that people, okay, good. Justin's like, yep, that's me. So how do I make sure that people get the answers to their questions from me, right? And it doesn't have to be hard. This can be something that you do twice a year. Just go through, find a bunch of questions, and then do a batch creation session where you sit down and you write a bunch of answers in the internet, and you take those answers and you create more content for yourself, create some blog posts, create some videos, batch them up, push them out onto the internet, and then wait another 6 months and do it again. If you want to do things more frequently, you can, but I just want this to be a low bar. I don't want this to be something that you feel like you have to do literally every day. I don't feel like you need to do this every day. It is something that you can do on a semi-regular basis that is going to help you amplify your reach, right? Like, really get out there and help people know that you can solve their problems, address their challenges, and then help them find you to be the solution, because they are out there complaining. Like, they are out there telling the internet all their woes about decorating and how everything falls apart and everything is cheap and everything was made yesterday and everything that was made yesterday is meant to be disposable. You would not believe, Melody, how many YouTube videos I have watched. Y'all, clearly I'm a YouTube person. How many YouTube videos I have watched about how disposable all new furniture is. Like, if you buy anything that was made in the last 15 years, the last 20 years, it's like it was made to only last 3 or 4 years. You buy a brand new couch, and that couch, we bought a couch 3 years ago, and it was broken within two. And no, we don't have any small children. There was no one jumping up and down on the couch. And the literal frame of the couch broke. It wasn't like a small thing like the electronics broke down. No, the couch fell apart. And like no one in this house weighs more than 200 pounds. And that couch fell apart. And so that is like crazy. And there are tons of people who are making those videos address that pain. Okay. So people are looking for stuff. What are they looking for? If you're still thinking, I don't even know what people's searches are, I don't know what their pains are, I want you to use the Google search results page as your search, like as your empower engine. Find out what people are searching for and then start making content about that stuff, right? You can also use Google Trends. Both of those things are completely free. I'm not going to tell you anything that's not free today. So all of these things are completely free tools that help you learn what people are searching for, learn what's trending, learn what the issues are. So even with someone like Melody, the idea of what people are looking for, some people in certain regions are looking for antiques. Other people in certain regions are looking for vintage. Other people in certain regions are looking for estate. So even the language that you use for the exact same piece of furniture, exact same piece. Like, the language that you use might be different in different regions, just like we call pop soda in different places. I'm from, as I have mentioned, I'm from Missouri, where we call it soda. And I know y'all here in Ohio like to call it pop. And so all those different things apply to a bunch of stuff, including furniture, including roofing, including everything. It's so weird that we have different language. It's not weird. We're a very big country with a lot of people. And so, of course, we have different words that we use for different stuff. And so make sure that whatever the language is that you're using is the language that people are using near you, right? What are they saying? And then make sure that you're putting yourself out there as the expert. So Justin needs to become the expert in home maintenance. I'm sure he already is. And so he just needs to share that with other people so that people know that you are the experts. Okay, good, Justin. Good. So he's already working with people who are doing that for SEO. Yes, this is what we need to be doing, because if we're not doing that work, search engine optimization, then we're not going to be getting established as the expert. We're not going to have people coming to us to be the answer to their questions, okay? And then when you do that work on your website, don't let it be passive. This is why I said to Melody that she needs to be on Pinterest, that we need to be on the directories, we need to be in these different places. Making sure that our brands are consistent on all of them. I don't care which logo you use. I don't care what colors they are. None of that stuff matters as much as being consistent, having the same one across everything. And then making sure that your messaging, that messaging that we came up with earlier, is consistent across all those platforms, so that if someone finds you on Pinterest, they know it's the same you that they were talking to on Facebook, that was the same you that they found on YouTube. It's always the same you, because if they find different things on YouTube, it's Justin, but on Facebook, it's his business. On Instagram, it maybe looks a little bit like his business, but his face is in the profile. Things like that are so confusing to people. And so you just want to make sure that you're not confusing your audience, okay? And in all of this, we are sharing, not selling. We are just trying to be as useful a resource as we can so that we can develop relationships with people. That is the idea. And when I say develop relationships, I don't mean one-on-one relationships. I mean the kind of relationships where people will show up at your business and be talking to you like you are their best friend and you have never met them before. That is the kind of relationship I'm talking about, where they feel so comfortable with you that by the time they show up, by the time they call you, they have already sold themselves on working with you. They already know that you're the person that they want to work with, because you've done the work of letting them know that you're the person that they want to work with, that you can solve their problems, you have the answers. That does work. Anyone who doesn't get that that works, y'all, I can't convince you. It does work. Now, for the last couple of minutes, we're going to talk about those last two steps, because the first two, the awareness and consideration, are the most important ones. They have a lot of work that needs to be done. But once you get past that to the part where people are starting to buy from you, we need to start focusing on different things. We need to start thinking about how to get people from the point where, okay, I totally know that Justin is someone I want to buy from, but now how do I do that? Especially when we're talking about bigger purchases, because some of our products, some of your products are not cheap. And so people are going to have to think, okay, I need roof maintenance, or I need a new roof, or I want to buy this very lovely antique dresser. I want to buy, like, whatever the thing is. I want to purchase this, but maybe I don't know. I'm scared about making a purchase this big. How do we help them to get through that process? The best thing we can do is streamline our purchase process. This is not just something that we should do online, because most of you don't have online businesses. But when you have an in-person business, what is the process? And then how do we give them a bunch of ways to interact with our business so that they're not just interacting in one way? Buy my stuff. That's it. That's all I got. No, we need to give them other ways to interact. Is there an email list they can join? Can they subscribe to a YouTube channel? Can they get an educational series for free? Is there something for them to download? You might think all that stuff is crazy, except for that there are plenty of people who are like, let's call them procrastinators. They are procrastinating, meaning they kind of know they're going to do something. They know they're going to make a purchase, but in the middle of the purchasing decision process, they are just spinning their wheels. They're spinning. They're like the little spinny thing that happens when your website is loading. They're spinning their wheels trying to figure out what to do next. And your job while they're spinning away is to stay top of mind, right? We are not ignoring the people who are spinning. Occasionally, we might want to throw an exclusive offer out there, invite them to a special event, invite them to a webinar, toss out a customer testimonial. Hey, I've been telling you about how great I am on these videos and how I solve all your problems, but don't just take my word for it. Here's a client that I worked with who had a great experience with me. Offer them value. And then, like I said, make sure that when they do go to checkout, when they do go through the process, that it is not the most convoluted, scary process possible, that everything in your process works, and that it works so easily that they love it. That they're just like, oh my God, that was the easiest roof I've ever bought in my life. Like, you really want it to feel like that for them. And if you do have a process that is website based, so the people are purchasing things through your website, you absolutely want Google Analytics, mostly because, again, completely free. It will help you figure out where people are falling through the cracks, where they are falling off your funnel, where they're not actually getting through. You can actually find those spots and fix them. You can fix them. And then, of course, if you manage to get through this entire thing and you have a great and successful process, then and only then do you spend money on advertising. We do not spend money on advertising until you have done everything else that we're talking about and has proven that it's successful. Otherwise, we're wasting money. And we know I don't like to waste money. I've already mentioned that I'm cheap. Now, the last thing, I'm like, I am the cheapest, most the cheapest expensive person you're ever gonna meet. I am like a procrastinator. I am your customer. I am all the things that I have been telling y'all about. I am that person. And so because of that, I need y'all to carry me across the finish line because I'm a normal person who has four jobs, right? I need someone to walk me through everything and hold my hand. Now, after they have finally purchased something, we want to build a relationship past that. We don't want them to buy something and then just be like, thank you for your money. Bye. Like that meme from Parks and Recs. Give me money, please. Bye. Like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be that guy. You want to say, thank you. And then how can I get you to return as a customer and recommend me to other people? That process does not happen without effort. You have to actually do stuff. You have to get these people to become advocates for you. You have to stay in touch with them, provide them with really good customer service, and then ask them for feedback. But don't just ask them for a referral. My favorite thing on the planet is asking people for feedback. To be like, I need your feedback on X. And they'll be like, you need my feedback. Yeah. I want you to like rate your experience. Tell me what I did well. Tell me what I did wrong. We're going to make improvements. And then when you make improvements based on what people have told you in that feedback, tell everybody. So you say, you know what? We got this great feedback from customer X over here when we did service Y. And because of that feedback, we have changed our entire system. And people will go, oh my God, you changed your entire system because someone gave you good feedback? Yes, we did. And you know, the truth is, we do it all the time, right? Like we change our businesses when people give us good feedback. So why not ask for the feedback so that you can make changes? Ask for the feedback so that you can publicize the great relationships that you have with your customers after they make a purchase. After, right? And then make these people happy. Offer them exclusive discounts. Offer them offers, things that are just for them. Hey, you guys bought this thing. Even if it's silly, even if you can't buy a new roof. Because Justin is like, how many roofs are these people going to buy? That's not the point. You could send them a birthday card. That's just like a pun on a roof at their birthday. It will cost you approximately 27 cents to send them a birthday card. Like you can buy them at the Dollar Tree and send these people a card that's just like, just thinking about you on your birthday. And like I said, make it a roofing pun. And they're going to go, are you kidding me? My roofer just sent me a birthday card. People love that kind of stuff. And it makes you human. It makes you top of mind, even though, no, they're not going to buy another roof from you, hopefully, anytime in the near future. But it will make you seem like a human who is interacting with them. And they love that, and it will encourage the stuff we want after that. So, online reviews, testimonials, referrals. If you're human and you actually engage with people that way, it really will help with the rest of the process. And then, if you want to take it to the next level, you can add in contests and things like that. But you don't even have to do all of that. Just like I said, give them a birthday card, send people an anniversary, like not even an anniversary gift, an anniversary card. And when you get reviews, Google reviews, Google loves it when you guys get reviews. But what they want you to do is no matter what the review is, respond to the review because review responses are gold. They let Google and everybody else know that A, you're still in business and that you're run by a human and that you respond and all those things. Like I said, feedback, accepting feedback and being critical, all those things. People love that. And avoid offering incentives. Do not advertise. Google hates that because those don't feel real. People do not believe incentivized reviews, okay? So, who can you ask for these reviews from? Customers, employees, partners, vendors, influencers, anyone who has a stake in your business. Whew, so that was a lot. I got us here at 7:59. I want to know from everyone in the chat, what are you going to do next? I have given you 8 million tons of information. What are you going to do next? So put it in the chat while we're wrapping it up. I want to know, what are your next steps? Go ahead, write it out. I'll wait. I only have like 40 seconds, but I'll wait. I love it when y'all finish. Okay, finish that business plan, Shanika. Okay, we got Layla, polish the positioning statement. Yes, I love that. Get on Pinterest, make a video. I love that. Build out the website and start making YouTube videos. Robert, y'all got plans. This is what I'm talking about. Survey the CS teachers. That's a really good idea. Okay. Oh my goodness, that's a good idea. Okay, Devana's going to be doing YouTube, building a customer persona. Oh, y'all are great. This is great. This is great. This is great. Oh, look, you better get out there and do a YouTube channel, Shanika. Go ahead, do it. Okay, this was great. No recap. Y'all learned everything you need to learn. If you wanted more information, there is a YouTube channel with Grow with Google that has more information on it. Of course, there are career certificates that you can always apply for. And then, last but not least, thank you all so much. If you can and would like to, Google would love to hear from you about this workshop. Go ahead, scan the QR code and let them know that you got something from this time that we spent together. And if you are in another state, you just put that you're in Ohio as your state, and we can go from there. Okay, I think that's everything.
Lindsay, well done. You kept going and you didn't lose your voice.
I
Congratulations.
managed it. Yeah.
All right. So hopefully some of that great tea that you've been having will help you out. This is Dan Yerman Score thanking the about 30 people who attended the session today. And we welcome all of you to check out the Score website where you can sign up to receive notifications of future webinars. Lindsay does them throughout the year, and she's one of our favorite presenters. So stay tuned for future webinars from Lindsay. And also, you can sign up to, if you have a business and you want a SCORE mentor, that's the place to sign up. With that, I will wish you all a good evening. And thank you, Lindsay, for again such a wonderful presentation and all the energy that you put into helping people with their businesses. Good night, all. I'm ending the webinar now. Bye now.